This is Brownies Podcast.
This is Brownies Podcast. Degenerates, round 16. It was off the hook. We got so much to talk about. We're all in the studio, but first up, I fell asleep just as all the wickets started falling.
Oh, mate, it was
fuck's sake.
unbelievable up there last night, sitting up. I had a few coffees this morning. It was a late night. Got to bed about 1 o'clock. It is the gift that keeps on giving, the Ashes.
Been unbelievable.
Ben Stokes' performance, like for a while, he should be an Aussie, Ben Stokes, shouldn't he? Like, he just went bunter, and it was just so engrossing to watch. Although you can't go to bed now. I genuinely thought he was going to get him over the line.
Oh, so did I. You cannot ask for a better 10 days of cricket. The first test in Edgbaston went down to the wire, and we obviously got it over the line late day 5. Then we go to Lords, the home of cricket. Another 5 days of scintillating cricket. And I'm with you. I sat up last night and dead set while Stokes was in. I thought I was nervous. He was going berserk.
Two sixes in a row at one point.
I
Bang,
know,
bang.
it was amazing. Out of all the balls bowled, the one that actually got him out was the biggest pie.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Just a top edge to the keeper. But didn't the tempers boil over? Genuine animosity, hatred.
Yeah. Well,
Early in the
early in the day, when they were going through the long room was that the lunch break
Yeah,
or
it
the
was.
tea break? The lunch break, and because they have to walk through the long room, the players.
Like past drunk rich
It's-
people.
No, well, they're not. They're old, and they've been members for 50 years, and it's Paul prim and proper.
Yep.
And very rarely is a word said.
Yeah.
And they stand there and they clap you, and it's quite a famous walk.
Yep.
Dino, old drunk rich people, and one
Members
of
of
them's
the Carbine Club.
one of them's had exactly right. We got a carbine club dinner in a couple of
Oh,
weeks.
is that right? Are you going to get secret tattoos?
Yeah,
All that
apparently
shit.
got to turn up nude with just a bow tie.
So what happened?
Well, it was been Kawaj to stop, so they've called him a cheat.
Why?
You know, they'll call a few of the Aussies cheats because of what happened with the Johnny Bairstow situation. So he actually was out there batting, and he ducked a bouncer, and he went to Alex Carey, the keeper, and he just started walking out of his crease like it was the end of an over.
I didn't
but
like it,
instinctively, Carey threw the ball at the stumps, and it hit the
Well,
stumps.
that seems like a dog act.
Why was he walking out of the stumps? What out of the crease? Was it the end of the
does
over?
Yeah, it was the end of the over, and he does do it, but he didn't actually wait a second or two.
Yeah.
The umpire needs to call over, and then you can walk down the pitch.
Technicality.
So he did it almost instantaneously, and the Aussies were onto it, and Carey rolled it.
Yep.
Under the letter of the law, he was out. He was not run out, stumped. Carey bowled green. That's the official. But just where the game was sitting and the way that he went out, and I actually thought that the Aussies, in particular Pat Cummings, he's the only one that could actually call him back because you're allowed to do that under the
Captain
spirit
can do that.
of the law. And they did it, and they celebrated, and off he went. It was a significant moment. It was a significant wicket, and the English crowd, including all the old guys, right on lunch, went f***ing berserk.
They did. They went berserk, including when the players walked through the long room.
It does feel a bit wrong.
Unprecedented scenes, mate.
It was. Well, players were. The 3 members have been suspended.
Have they?
Yeah, for giving Khawaja
No
and the rest
shit.
of the team.
And this is the most prim and proper people in Britain, right? I don't know how long you have to wait to get a membership. It's
It's a lot longer
double
than the
the
MCG.
MCG, right?
Mate, Pims is like rum. It makes you punchy.
So for them at 80 years of age to be there abusing Australian players as they walked up for their scones, jam and cream, right? It was great theatre, but it was unprecedented behaviour.
Could you imagine too? Because they've got cameras on the top of the long room. They're like security cameras, so you could see the players walking through, and then the players stop. I would have loved it if Kawaj had just stopped, turned back, and just gone bang and put one on some old prick's fucking chin. Hey, I'd imagine a big blue erupted, which it nearly did because security had to step in. That would have been unbelievable.
I can't ever imagine. I mean, I played the game and had a lot of things said to me. I can't ever imagine someone saying something so profound that I would stop and want to confront
Well,
them.
if you got called a cheat,
Well, who cares, mate?
No,
Do you know what I mean?
cheat's different. 'cause
Cheat's different.
It challenges your whole.
it challenges your
honour.
character.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it was more the collective. You Australians are cheats, right?
Yeah, right.
He didn't just single out Usman Khawaja.
Well, he
you know
might
what I
have said a little bit more as well, the guy. So
I just would have kept walking because you know that if you stop and do something, there's the story.
Yeah.
That's the front page of every you know,
What about the old? I always think a good move is. He probably had glass on the old boy, but a good move is the double finger poke in the eyes.
Smart.
Like,
And
imagine
you
that.
block it by doing a
You
fin.
block, but he wouldn't have been ready, the old prick,
No.
because he was drunk. But just to turn around and just go bang.
yeah.
That's an unused move, Dino.
unless you get spat on, which
It
I don't
certainly
reckon.
is an unused move.
It just needs to be used.
If you get spat on, I reckon, and then
Yeah,
that's different,
that's
right?
fucked.
Because that's turning it a bit physical. But
Racial stuff could get under your skin.
of course,
But yeah, like, oh, fuck, it's
Well, I hope it
wild.
wasn't racial.
Anyway,
towards it
it's
was
2-0.
Nkaja.
It's 2-0 to the Aussies.
Sucked in.
Yeah.
And Karma's sort of come around to bite England on the
It's
arse.
been a lot happening. It's a big rivalry. Even that one where Stark took the catch and then he used his hand that had the ball in it to brace his fall. To the letter of the law, that's probably not out. But so they blew up about that as well.
Wow.
Kevin Peterson, the
Oh,
English commentator,
Kevin.
came out and said that Nathan Lyon only batted to deliberately trying to get hit in the head so then he could be subbed out.
Mate, that
Because
guy-
he'd
that
hurt
guy's
his calf.
insane.
Absolutely. So to say he was going to go out and try and headbutt the ball so they could then use a sub because they couldn't sub him out because he'd done his calf because that wasn't a concussion. You can only use a sub for a concussion, Dino.
It's been great. It's been a
So-
riveting couple of tests.
Have you done Peterson time? Socially?
Nah, I had a good mate of mine here in Melbourne that was very close with him,
Mm.
and they used to go to the Emerson all the time. That was when he had his peroxide of
Yeah.
mohawk sort of
Yeah, right.
areas. But
He looked like a skunk.
he didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a beer with him one night at the Crown Casino. He's a nice fella.
Yeah.
He's mates with Warnie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what I love about him? He goes over to South Africa, which is where he's originally from, and he puts a lot of time and effort into the wildlife and protecting all the
awesome.
species over there. Yeah,
take
I
him
like
back.
that.
Yeah, rhinoceros. I
Is
think
it?
he's big on saving the rhinoceros.
Is he a hero of the rhinoceros?
Yes, he is, mate. Which is
Jesus.
you
He is.
probably wouldn't predict.
No.
But I love the fact that he does that.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Hey, round 16.
Oh, what a round!
What a goddamn round. That's right, round 16. This means that we can safely start putting bullets in teams that have no chance of making the finals. Dog, because there's three of us,
Yep.
we'll have a deciding vote.
Okay.
Tigers, bullet or no bullet?
Bullet.
Bullets.
Boom! Carlton,
Bullet.
boom!
Oh, yeah, they've got some tough games. They've got Port Adelaide and Collingwood in the next month. They've
Swans,
got-
Bullet.
boom!
well done.
Gold Coast,
Bullet.
Bullets,
Boom!
absolutely.
Dad, give him a double. That's shit that they
Boom,
dished up.
boom.
Yeah.
10 points to half time's a disgrace.
Frio had to beat Doggies for it not
Bullet.
to be a bullet.
Percentage 95, nowhere near good enough.
GWS,
Can make it.
Geelong,
Definitely can make it.
Yeah, definitely. They've got too many tall defenders, though. So, they need to balance that up, that's for sure.
So I think that we're down to 10 now, JB. If we've ruled out all those teams we've just said,
Geelong and GWS.
yep, they're the only
we
two.
include them.
Massive win for GWS. Jeez, that was probably
should have won up
yeah.
there in the wet. But it's a real race. There's probably 5 teams, in all honesty. There's 5 teams competing for 4th spot. So the top 3's locked in. Collingwood, Port Adelaide. Then a couple of games gap to Brisbane Lions. I think the 3's set, Dino. But then Melbourne, St Kilda, Bulldogs, Adelaide, Essendon, probably competing for 4th spot.
Also, I feel like anyone in the 8 could win the goddamn flag. People are having their moments.
Yeah, they are having their moments. History says you can't win from outside the top 4, but it's been done before. Doggies have done it.
Let's go back to Cat Sydney. A draw feels like winning a raffle,
How bad was he kicking?
but the prize is like a 50% off voucher. That's what it feels
Do we want
like.
to do we want to go extra time, like golden point, or go an extra 5 minutes at either end?
No, I'm happy with the draw
are?
during the home and away season. Yeah, I think it's fitting. Get the 2 points.
I actually like the fact that some teams. There's been a couple of draws this year. So Richmond, Carlton, start of the year, and then Sydney, Geelong. I like the fact that it nullifies 4 teams' percentage because it's unfair this year. Because if you play West Coast twice, you get a significant advantage when it comes to percentage.
Sorry for helping.
Because you're a dog team.
Sorry for helping. A draw feels like, actually, I asked Campbell before we started recording, what does a draw feel like? And he so eloquently said, a draw feels like you're in the middle of a vigorous lovemaking session. The excitement is palpable and the finish line is in sight, but then the phone rings and it's your mum. And she's giving an unnecessary update about your father's gout. And then the sexy moment is gone forever.
Yeah.
That's what a draw feels like, John.
Yes, it happens all too often.
Hickey!
Hickey.
Can't kicky.
Shit!
And Robbie Fox. No good as well. He
Poor
was
Hickey.
terrible. Yeah.
He missed both sides from 15 metres.
I know, how bad. Imagine him walking into the club today.
Hickey can't kicky, and Fox was Pox.
There it is.
Did you ever get any hickeys at school?
Yeah, I got a hickey, and then I went to a family barbecue the next day in York, and
Yeah.
a family member pointed it out, and then they made a big deal
Did
about
they?
it.
Yeah, so
Really?
they should. It's if you ever see a hickey on someone,
Yeah.
you never should just let it go.
No.
You should really point it
Yeah.
out, especially in public.
Yeah.
You know, around people. Go, mate, is that what I think it
It
is?
is.
Here's
And
a
really
question.
make a big
It's
thing
a very
about it.
high school sort of thing to do.
What age above is it weird to keep giving hickeys?
Well,
I think if you give a
Kyle's-
hickey on someone's breast, that's
Yes.
okay, but not on their
Well,
neck where
see.
people can see it.
I think I gave Kyle's one early days of our relationship, and it was very odd. Obviously, you're up in Queensland. She was
Wait a minute.
wearing a skivvy around in
It's
the middle
very
of
hot,
summer.
obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Skivvy.
The weather was hot. She's all of a sudden wearing a skivvy.
It's like you're marking your territory. You know.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's sucking blood out of someone's skin.
Yeah,
Like
it
I
is.
said, it was early days of the relationship.
Bum, bum, bum. All right. Oh, by the way, Brian Myers, congratulations on officially, the dreads are gone completely. Like, I thought he got rid
Yeah.
of the dreads, but then started to make dreads
Grow 'em
again.
back.
Nah, we don't need shitlocks in the AFL.
We don't need shitlocks.
Who
And
had Shitlocks as your teammate?
Chance Bateman. I remember one game we played Richmond. There was a guy called Nason. You remember him? Sam Mitchell grabbed him by his dreadlocks and tried to pull him out.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Old teammate Timmy Notting, the Poss. Poss
Yeah.
came back from a footy trip with blonde hair and dreadlocks.
Horrendous
I
look,
think.
isn't it?
Yeah. And he rolled with it for a while.
And shout out to BT because there's no better name that comes out of his mouth than
Ryan Myers.
that's ecstasy. One more.
Ryan Myers.
I just had a moment.
Hey, quick vape check. Did you avoid the deathly cloud?
I did, yeah. I left all my vapes over in London, specifically not to bring them back, because had I had them on me,
Yeah.
I would have vaped.
Ask me.
Did you have any vapes over the weekend?
I went to a 40th and the cloud got me.
Did it?
I feel awful.
You
I
wouldn't
hate
have
that
bought any,
shit.
though. You would have bum puffed it.
Correct. Correct.
Absolutely.
I hate them.
You wake up with a real
Depressed.
taste in your mouth.
What about
Yes,
just
that's
how,
not the vape. What? Yes.
how isolated we were during COVID? Yet now, the amount of how free we are with sharing vapes. It's quite astonishing, isn't it?
It is.
Like
it
it's
is.
just like it just doesn't count.
Simple stats for you. West Coast Eagles beat GWS. GWS beat Melbourne. West Coast Eagles are better than Melbourne and GWS.
Makes sense. On that
How
theory.
good was that, man?
Mate, how the
What?
can you turn up
What?
and put in an effort like that West Coast yesterday? That makes the loss last week look
Worse.
even worse.
Does.
Like it's embarrassing.
What?
Where's your pride as a club? Like the amount of times, the amount of 100-point losses you guys have been through.
'Cause you're capable.
And then you turned up and you actually had a crack yesterday. Hey,
Effort.
that's embarrassing, mate.
Look
Head
what
knocks.
happens if you bring effort.
Listen to me.
Mate, don't call me Ed Knox.
I just did. On the weekend, that was a triumph. Where those skinny little kids played amazing.
Mate, I'm
Jack
talking about
Williams.
senior players.
Yeah, who cares?
Senior players have a crack from week to week.
Are you both looking at me saying what the Eagles did wasn't a success on the
It
weekend?
made it worse. It made the 170-point
What
loss
is wrong
worse.
with you?
I would have preferred they got their ass kicked because then you go, well, geez, they are just a shit
They
team.
do.
Oh,
They're
get
not
Mate,
capable, but
that's
you
their
showed you're
level.
capable.
Hey, from the bottom of my heart, both of you get
Mate,
and
tell
I'll
you
say
what,
this as well.
How'd your bet go?
Ryan Myers.
Oh yeah, you know how I said the Eagles are paying $10 to lose by under 40?
Yeah.
Which is good value.
Yeah.
So I got my boxing trainer and Pang in on the investment and they gave me money.
Yeah, and you forgot to put it on.
No, I went to Sportsbet and I accidentally put it on Eagles to win by 1 to 40.
Ah,
So we won nothing.
Oh, you made a mistake.
But anyone that listened
You
to that
idiot.
tip would have. It was raining
I
money.
thought they were good. I think the line was about 60 points. I thought they were good things to come within the line. But,
All right.
no, not good enough, Dino. That club,
You're
they
wrong.
should be refunding all the members' money this year.
What the
Mate,
are you talking about?
They really should be.
Did you hear that stadium on the weekend? It was uplifting.
Well, absolutely, it was uplifting. The fact that they just still turn up to watch the shit that you guys have rolled out consistently.
Yeah. It'd be hard as a supporter.
They should be getting refunded.
I'd
The
rather
loyalty
be
they've
West
shown.
Coast than Carlton right now. There, I said
Can you
it.
imagine wasting your Sunday and you think it'd be a good idea to go and watch your side potentially lose by 100 points?
Oh,
is
no,
wrong with
no way.
We were up by 4 goals at half time. We could have won that goddamn game. I'm flat now. Port Bombers. My God.
Good game. What's the special sauce of Port
My
Adelaide?
God.
What is the special sauce of Port Adelaide?
Kinkley. It's Kinkley.
A lot of belief.
A lot of belief.
I'll tell you, they've got two of the best young players in the competition. Rosie and Butters are proper freaks.
And
Pepper.
Juan France is good. Powell Pepper's like a wrecking ball in
No
that
one
last
talks
quarter.
about Powell Pepper, seriously.
Love SPP. What about the most important player for Port Adelaide?
Heast.
Wasn't actually on the field on the weekend and hasn't been on the field since he retired as captain about 5 years ago, Doc. The great Warren Treadray.
How do you reckon Big Woz is feeling, right? So obviously during COVID, he had a really good job. He was a sports reporter. And
Channel 9.
he challenged the COVID stuff, which is entitled. But he lost his job.
Yeah.
Right? He lost his position on the board at Port. He lost a little bit of his mojo. That was him. That's Warren Treadray.
The gloves.
So at the start of this year, after they lost their third game, he came out and said, Kenny Hinkley's position's untenable.
Magnificent.
Right? They've won 12 straight since. Plus the bye, that's 13 weeks of absolute just triumph.
Well done, Warren.
We should get him on.
We should really
now,
just credit. Surely he'd take it well, wouldn't he? Like,
I think
he'd have
so.
to take some credit
Well,
for that.
he'd be happy to see his club back where it belongs, up the top of the ladder.
I know you hate the Bombers. You do. I can see it in your face.
Yeah.
But man, I really feel for those fans. That crowd was going off. That
Yeah.
would have been the biggest win in a decade
I know.
by far.
It was crazy. It was and that was such an unlikely kick. Dan Houston, the only player on that field that was probably capable of kicking that distance with a wet ball.
I didn't know John because he doesn't look big. I didn't think he
No.
had that
A long
distance.
leg.
Yeah, he's
As
got a
soon-
long leg. He played well too.
As soon as he marked it, he knew he was going
He
back.
did, didn't he? He does that funny thing with the tongue curl.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that? It was almost like a concentration.
Yes.
He goes like that. Beck, can you do that?
The tongue curl.
The tongue curl. Yeah, so he did that. It was quite weird. It was almost like a pre-shot routine, and it worked for him.
In Dog's very good post-match interview with him, Houston said Mackenzie ran up to him before he kicked and said,
Yeah.
"No matter what happens, I still love you."
I love that.
That's
That's
nice,
awesome.
isn't it?
Yeah, my favourite part of the night wasn't the great game, some of the acts out in the field, the courage, the kick after the side.
Yeah.
My favourite part of the evening was
Yes.
when they would cross to Dog often, and he was wearing this ridiculous poncho.
Yeah.
This plastic poncho, because of course he was the boundary rider on the evening, and it was absolutely teeming down.
It was freezing.
Any
it was
danger of an
pouring.
umbrella?
Well, they didn't provide me with one. And I was down there on the boundary, and it was cold, and then it started raining, and someone just handed me like a plastic sheet, and I had to rip the face open
Yes.
so I could actually look at my notes and try and deliver the outstanding broadcast that we did.
Who did you fill in for?
Daisy Thomas. is in
Daisy
London.
Thomas is on notice because this guy crushed it.
Crushed it, absolutely. But you look like a wet rat, though.
I was so wet. It
Here's
was good times.
Here's what annoyed me though. Dan Houston just pulled off one of the most miraculous acts you can do in football.
Yeah.
But after you asked him how he felt, he gave you a credit to the boys. Just
Nah.
tell us how you feel,
Yeah.
man. Because none of us will ever get to feel that. Tell us what brand of cocaine it
So
feels
you want
like.
to say a bit of credit to me?
Yes.
I want him to say that. Yeah.
Imagine someone went, you know what? Just for the next 24, 48 hours, I'm the king of Adelaide.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
Mates!
back home. I want people to stop me in the streets. I want them to buy me drinks, coffee. I want girls to slide into my DMs. I want to be the man that I am after
Yes!
a goal like that. That'd be a good interview.
Because after the interview, he went back to his true self. He was cutting sick. He was chucking phones around.
Yeah.
I just want
He
to
went
see some...
serious for that 90-second
We
interview.
don't want that.
That's what you do to people. You make them all stir.
You tighten people up.
I make them
You
nervous.
just straightens
Jacko.
them up too much.
Jeez.
You know, like, come on, loosen them up, Doc. That's your job.
I'll say this, the last note for round 16. Jamie Elliott, football IQ of 4,000.
Why?
Well, he kept the ball alive. Let's not carry
No!
on like it's one of the greatest goals of
He
all time.
danced around a pole like he was a Michael Flatley, and then sockered that
Or
boy back in. Yeah?
Cinnamon from
Or cinnamon from
Kittens.
Kittens. He had a lot of cinnamon about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a
And-
good goal. It's
Man.
not goal of the year. Let's not.
Can
let's
someone
not.
tell me in the Brisbane game why that defender kept it in so Danaher could boot it off the ground like it was a rugby kick? Did you see that?
Well, he was trying to touch it, wasn't it? And it looked like it was just over the line. They were going to pay it a point, but Danaher was right to just boot it through.
I've never seen it like
Yeah, it
a
was
more
bizarre.
fucking bang goal. Hey,
They were very good.
great round of footy. Ads back in a second.
This is Brownies Podcast.
Welcome back to Brownie's podcast. So, Jonathan's coaching. You've lost your mind, and why the hell you're pursuing this as a new career is beyond me.
I thought coaching was easy until the weekend, and I'm still flat, Dino. You're probably noticing my voice. After I went down to Mars Stadium at Ballarat, cold,
Yeah.
wet,
Yeah.
but just sort of going to roll over the Ballarat Footy League. I was coaching the Hampton League and up against Anthony Koutafidis. I thought, what would Kouta know about coaching?
What would he know?
What would he know about coaching? So I was very confident, especially at quarter time when we were about, I think we were about 3 goals up. We played well with the wind.
You had control.
Had control. By half time, completely out of control. I didn't know what was happening. My head was spinning. Kouta had got a hold of me, and then I couldn't retrieve the situation. I tried my darndest. I gave out one of the great cooks of all time. Stripped the paint off the walls at half time.
Hey, pause on that. What did you say to him? What was the crux of your spray?
I just said, hey, boys, I can't go giving you boys a pump up at quarter time, which I did, and then for you boys not to expect me to give you a good old-fashioned spray.
Whoa!
After that shit you rolled out for the last 20 minutes. Now, you need to lift and you got to be able to cop it between the eyes. That's actually what I said. So I prefaced my spray with an explanation as to why I was giving them a spray. Unfortunately, we couldn't get back on song. And we
16
lost.
points, wasn't it, in the
16
end?
points we went down to the Ballarat Football League and the great Anthony Koutafidis.
Man, we're going to call Kouta. He's the loveliest human being I
He
think
is.
that exists. Da 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 da.
Hello.
Is that victorious coach Anthony Koutafidis?
How are we?
Oh, we're going beautifully, mate. You should have heard Friday talking on the podcast. JB thought he was going to roll down to Ballarat, get the 4 points and come home undefeated like he has in the years previous, mate. And you really taught him a coaching lesson. And your strong roots to the Ballarat region, Kouta, talk us through them.
My strong roots, the only thing I've done is just been there, really.
That'll do. Kouta, that'll do.
Couldn't believe it. Just the great man. I looked out on the field, and at quarter time, I was super confident, Kouta. I thought I had you covered. I thought the Ballarat Football League, no match for the Hampton League. And from that point on, we just completely lost control. What did you do in the coach's box? You were spinning the magnet. You were spinning the magnets. I don't know what you were doing up there, mate.
I'll tell you what I was doing up there, Brent. I was just sitting there watching the game, mate.
Oh, that hurts even more.
Kouta, how does it rank? Making Jonathan look like an amateur or winning Dancing with the Stars?
I look Dancing with the Stars better because I love Brownie, so it's not about bragging rights here. I'm sure we played again next year on their turf. It might be a bit of a different outcome. But this is what I did know is that last time Brownie coached the Hampton boys, they really destroyed Ballarat. So I think Ballarat were probably a little bit more serious and ready this time. And I was privileged, boys, really. I mean, I turned up. I didn't know the significance of it, really. I mean, to me, it was like, let's turn up and help out these young kids. And I love that. Like Brownie, we try to put back into the community as much as we can because we love the game. And as we start to see little issues with clubs and not as many players maybe participating, I think this brought back a lot of interest for them. And the peering eyes of the AFL recruits were there too, which I'm sure they
There was a
would have
good
been
crowd, wasn't there, Kouta?
How many?
Oh, there would have been. There
Oh,
would have been.
about 300 people. How many?
Yeah, 500, no doubt about it. Most of them there to see Big Kouta in the flesh.
Mate, the tuck shop would have moved some pies, Kouta.
Mate, I tell you what, Brownie was there. That's where he was at quarter time. He was out getting to meet 5
Yeah.
He was that confident they were going to win.
Kouta,
A lot of scoring shots. There you go.
you're the nicest man I've ever met. I can't imagine you swearing at your players. Did you use some foul, colourful language?
Oh, I've been known to, in particular, because you may not have heard before, but I'm coaching my young boy in the under-13 Driving Age Football Club, and sometimes I've gone a little bit off my head, so it's a little bit out of character. I don't know what it is. I may have said a couple of swearing words on the weekend, but
In Greek or English?
yeah, it was a bit of mix of Greek and Italian, mate. And so I don't think anyone really understood.
You were probably like me, Kouta, up in the coach box going, who the that bloke? I said that a lot. And I was talking about my own team.
Were you like Brownie? Were you calling a lot of your own players just mates because you have no idea what their name is?
No, I was taking notes during the quarter. I was asking the coach, what's his name again? Number 11 or number 5? Tell me, like, Kouta, shut up. I'm trying to watch the game, you know. So,
Oh, yeah.
This was good fun, wasn't it, Brownie?
It was.
To see Brownie, really, man. We all love Brownie. And, what an absolute legend. And just one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And I watched him on the footy field just destroy people. And so in my head, boys, I was thinking Hampton were going to do the same thing as Brownie did. And actually, one of their guys actually ran with the flight of the ball.
He did too.
That guy sort of ran through him and teach him, mate. I warned the boys, if anyone runs with the flight of the ball like Brownie did, make sure we're knee up and we're flat.
He did too.
Was that one of your boys or Cooter's
One
boys?
of my boys ran back at the fly of the ball. It was
Mate,
kamikaze
That's
like.
dangerous because he's just trying to impress you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Still don't know what his name is, but it was a good effort.
Cooter, please tell Brownie, please tell Jonathan that not to go into coaching. I mean, he's going to get paid less. His hair will go grey. There's no positives for going to coaching. Please tell him.
I think he can, mate. You just got beaten by a better coach on the day.
Mate, we love you, Cooter. Thank you.
Pleasure, boys. Thanks very much. Good to see you too, Brownie. Well done, mate.
I'm looking forward to round 2 next year, Coot.
Oh, I know you are, mate. I know you want to get me back. This is a long wait, but I'll enjoy this. I'll enjoy it now while I can, all right?
Yes,
See you,
well done, mate.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Take it easy.
See you, boys.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Talk
One
soon.
of the greats.
One of the greats. I said the other day, I saw him play, I think, probably the best individual game I've ever witnessed live. And saw Simon Black, obviously, win the 2003 Norm Smith medal when he had 39 touches. But Cooter this day, I think, had 37 disposals and kicked 3 goals, ruck roving against our boys in 2000. I was in the reserves. Same day that the great Lance Whitnell kicked 9 goals.
Are you talking about the sexiest man alive, Lance
Sexiest
Whitnell?
man alive, and the second sexiest Cooter Feeties. This day, live, sitting in the grandstand, it was like a man playing against under 12s. But he was playing against Lappin, Voss, Scott Brothers, Black, Ackermanis. Like, he was just an unbelievable player.
That's the last time Carlton were good.
Yeah, it was. Back in probably 95.
That's wild.
Yeah, until Cooter did his knee in 2001. And really, from that point on, they really haven't challenged.
The AFL's first $1 million man.
Yes, and he was big. Remember he signed that massive boot deal with Adidas?
There was the big, because
like the first
the
$1
club
million
had
deal.
the club had another boot deal.
I think with Nike.
And he wanted to wear his boots,
Wear
and he's
Adidas.
one of the main reasons why now players can go off and do their own individual deals with their footwear. That's Cooter. That was Cooter.
Up until then, you had to
go
wear
to
the
court.
club-sponsored boots.
No shit.
Yeah, and
abs-
not get any of the extra money.
Yeah.
You know?
The Cooter precedent.
Yeah.
And there was talk that he was paid $1 million over that 5-year deal, which is unbelievable money. Like, the boys really don't get much coin now for wearing boots, but that was huge back in the day.
All right, ads back in a second. What's this countdown we're doing? It's a very good idea.
Top 5
Yes.
goals after the siren to win the game from 2000 onwards. We're not going back to the Blighty days, They were great. But the modern era, the last 23 years, there's been a few crackers.
If Luke Shuey's not in this, I'm going to jump
Oh,
across
he's not
this.
in my list.
What the
Being JB's.
What is wrong
Might
with
be.
double extra? Ads back in a second.
This is Brownies Podcast.
Welcome back to Brownies Podcast.
Ryan Myers.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Well, on the back of the Dan Houston goal, there's been plenty of goals after the siren to win games.
Yeah.
I've played in a game where Carmichael Hunt did that. JB's played in a game where Ash McGrath, you've done it yourself.
I've done it a couple of times.
Can you explain yours real quick? Because I know Dog's got a list, but I just want to know yours.
Well, I did mine, and I knew the siren was going to sound. So it sounded as after it's gone through.
Right.
But they yell out, so they both set shots. One was to draw a game in 2007. I was about 50-odd metres out, not to blow my own trumpet. Hit it beautifully. Went
it.
through post eye.
Boom.
It landed on the second row. And then another time was against West Coast over in Perth.
Oh, thank you.
And it was to avoid the wooden spoon.
Oh.
And I kicked it. I was directly in front 30 out, which made it even worse. Made it feel like a bit more pressure. Now, I deliberately did this. It's hit the instep, started at the left-hand point post, but swung around. I meant it all the time.
Did ya?
Meant it all the way. No,
Was
but I
there any
lucky.
part of you that thought at the top of your mark, I want to win the game for the club, but geez, it'd be better off if we won the wooden spoon, or not?
Good point, Dog.
No, I actually thought of the wooden spoon, though. I think I don't want to be the captain of the club that wins the wooden
Right.
spoon. So that'll be embarrassing. And that obviously made me even tighter. It made
John-
me feel the pressure. And as soon as I hit the ball,
Yes.
like the one that I had the draw, as soon as I hit the ball, that's gone through.
Yeah.
Bang. My finger was in the air a split second after I've hit the boot. The second one against West Coast, as soon as it hit my foot, I thought,
There's the
put this
gods.
out. I'll put it out of bounds on the full. That's how I thought it was going.
You should have missed it because then you would have got a number 1 draft pick. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, sorry, Dog.
All right, so I thought I'm going to do the top 5 goals after the siren to win the game. Because
Like
everyone's
that.
got their own different opinions.
Like that.
On what it is. From 2000 onwards.
All right.
Okay? So, I'm going to start with Jamie Elliott.
Oh, yes.
After the siren versus the Pie, for the Pies versus Essendon last year.
Tough kick.
Tough kick. Hawkins at the MCG from 55 to beat the Hawks to continue the
that was a
Kennett
good one.
curse.
That was
Remember
a
that
good
one?
one, yeah.
I think Ash McGrath in the that game we were speaking about.
Miracle
he
on
came back
grass.
from 60-odd points.
50 odd points, still a record for a last quarter comeback.
Also, the speed it went coast to coast.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
Simon
Yeah.
Black
It
was
was a quick-
unbelievable, that kick.
The quick dish in the middle
Yeah,
as
it
well.
was, yeah.
I reckon Dan Houston's is number 2 in the most recent goals after time. That's nearly as good a kick as you could possibly
Yeah.
produce under pressure, heavy ball, wet deck. I think the best goal after the siren is Jack Noon's over in Perth. Remember that one from an almost impossible angle?
Yeah, it was
Against
amazing.
Dockers?
Yeah.
Against the Dockers
Yeah.
for Carlton.
Yes.
That was unbelievable. But I played in this game, and the greatest kick after the siren to win a game of football I've ever been involved in was Jonathan Brown in the EJ Witten game back in 2019.
Mate, I saw it.
Pre-COVID. He had about a ball and a half of width
Yes.
to work with. He went with a drop punt.
Yes.
He flushed it, and it went straight through the middle, and the Vicks got the job done against the All-Stars.
And yeah, you could say his opponents had high cholesterol and
Yeah.
and sweat
Still
easily.
gotta kick it.
And you
Doesn't
took
matter.
the Mark Will and Truly after the siren had sounded. Remember
Absolutely.
that?
It took about 4 seconds after it when they went back and checked the tape. I'm glad you recognised that, Dog. I thought you were never going to get to it. Thanks for bringing that up.
mate,
A
no-
beautiful kick, I thought.
No Luke Shuey in double extra time to win a prelim or
It was
something.
30 out directly in front. I know it was a final, but
Yeah, fair enough.
it brings me back to a funny story that I sometimes tell. When Carmichael Hunt was at the top of his mark, about to have the biggest kick of his career to beat Richmond up at Kazali Stadium in Cairns, if you go back to the tape, our captain at the time, Gary Ablett Jr., had the presence of mind with everything
Yeah,
going on around
yeah.
him to go up and speak to Carmichael Hunt that just filled him with the confidence
him up.
to
Yeah.
go back and kick it. I don't exactly know what he said, but I would imagine it was something along the lines of, pick something out behind the goals, make sure you follow through with your kick, don't stab at it.
Great leadership.
Outstanding leadership. And then when I spoke to Gaz on the bus going back to the airport to fly down, I actually said to him, mate, I saw you run halfway across the field, get to Carmichael Hunt. What did you say to him that filled him with such confidence that he could go back and execute that kick to win the game? He looked at me, he smiled, he said, Brownie, I was trying to convince him to go down with cramps so I could take the kick. JB, have you got a top 5, mate?
Absolutely. And you know what? You've done 2,000. I'm going to throw a couple in for the old timers.
Yeah.
And I've been there for a couple. So the Miracle on Grass, Ash McGrath.
Yep.
I was on the left-hand point post.
Off the hook.
And it just came back slightly, just enough to get inside that right-hand post. It was sensational.
It's a feeling like no other, isn't it? When
Oh.
your teammate kicks one from, and you think you're going to lose the game and you win it.
And I was like Usain Bolt running the 50 metres to get to Ash. It was just
Pure ecstasy.
Yeah, and just jumped over the top of the pack. It was great. Shuey, I thought in that final was unbelievable. Carmichael Hunt, I agree with because he'd come from rugby league and
Yep.
didn't know how to hit his foot. And the two, though, for the old timers. Malcolm Blight from
barrel.
85 after the siren barrel at Princess Park against Carlton. That was astonishing. But one that I was there, the first final I ever went to, 94 qualifying final at the MCG, Geelong versus the Western Bulldogs. Billy Brownless comes storming out and took a mark, and then the siren sounded there, and he went back and kicked the
king
goal.
of Geelong.
And famously, Sandy Roberts said, "Billy, you are king of Geelong," as it sailed through.
I remember.
Mate, that was unbelievable. Just being a part of the crowd. I was 12 years old. Alistair Clarkson was our junior footy coach that year. He took us to the football that night.
Drove
It was
you
just
down.
Unbelievable. Absolutely. It was just an unbelievable feeling. So,
Hey.
how good.
You know that blighty kick that people say 80 metres and you think, come on, turn it up. You watch that footage back and
Yeah.
that is 80
They've
metres
properly
easy.
measured it. I think
Measured-
they've gone
I was
back and
with
measured
Blighty
it.
on Friday. We had to do a lunch.
He would have
and
spoken
Blighty
about
said
it.
it was official. Blighty gives himself a pump up, doesn't he? It was officially measured at, I think, 76 metres.
Unbelievable.
So, like 76 metres. And it still was sailing through almost at post eye as well.
Big kick.
Hey, enjoy. Hey, that was a great round of footy, right?
It was
Really
a great
good.
round of footy, yeah. Can't wait. There's not many to go now. There's only 8 to go, so the whips are cracking for some teams.
We're going to get to voicemails on Friday
Friday.
because the 24th is when the bus trip is on. We know the date?
Absolutely, yeah. 23rd, July 23rd.
23rd or 4th?
I think it's... Hang on.
No, it's the 23rd.
23rd,
My
Sunday,
bad.
July 23rd.
If it was the 24th, I'm no good.
Now,
Yeah.
Bucks is concerned because he keeps doing his calf. So he reckons he's going to now have to bulk up. He's going to be the square. So there's potentially bad coming for Bucks because he's not going to be capable of playing in the midfield, I don't think. So we're just going to have to bulk him up, get him on the protein powders, get him there. So anyway, looking forward. I'm not going to see you, crew, for the next couple. I'll be down the line. I'll be from the Goldie. I've got 10 days off.
Oh.
I'm going home to see me family.
Good stuff.
I forgot I actually had one.
We love you. See ya.